See, there's Rue James Close down there. We might have a walk down there later, but I want to show you up here and tell you a story of one of the apartments I had here in Antibes. I'd met a guy in England, Harry his name was. He was a chef, and I told him to come over. If you want a job on a yacht, want a job on a boat, come over and get bonjour, bonjour. Come over and get the job on a boat. Well, when he arrived here, he had nowhere to live. He was a heavy drinker. He went around basically causing havoc around the bar, and not many people liked his company, but one or two people gave him a chance on a boat, but he still had nowhere to live. So I put him up in my new apartment, which I got, and through Eddie Haggart again. But then the owner said to me, the previous tenant had parties here and would not allow any more parties in the house. It's got to be very quiet. So I got Harry in. So if I went to work one day, after about a few weeks this was, and instead of going for sundowners at the bar of the port, which I usually did at 5 o'clock after work, I decided I was so knackered I went straight home. And when I walked into the apartment, it didn't dawn on me at first. I thought, why is it so dark in here? I sat down, then looked up, and the ceiling was all black. There was a big black spot and streaks of black going in all directions, like an explosion had happened. And what had happened, he'd been pissed or stoned or something and decided to cook some chips in a saucepan full of oil and fell asleep. And he woke up, smoke everywhere, it was on fire. So what did he do? The chef should know better. Look at this view, look. This is beautiful. Look, what a view. And as we turn around the corner, another beautiful view of the sun just coming up. Look at that. Beautiful view. So anyway, so Harry decided to throw a wet cloth, not a dry one, a wet one, over the chip pan, and boom, up it went. Now this apartment was only small. One room, separate bathroom, shower. I slept in the bed, Harry slept on the floor, but he's had no incentive for going to find work. So when I came home from work, I found this explosion. He said, oh, Andy, sit down and have a joint. You're not going to believe what happened today. I said, Harry, come on, what the hell has been going on here? In this apartment was 27 people. It's unbelievable how so many people could get into the apartment. And there was like 15 firemen. Yeah, there was about 15 firemen, several policemen, ambulance men, and the worst one of all was the landlord. I thought, oh my god, the landlord, no way. So I had to go around to see the landlord, and he said, we did come to an agreement that we would have no one in. You took someone in against my advice, and you just ruined the apartment, so I want you out immediately, like tomorrow. Well, I'll show you the apartment in a second. We're just going to walk past it in a minute. But here, see, that's all around the Cap Antibes, all around there, and all over there there's all hidden mansions and villas, and that's where all the rich and famous live around Antibes, like film stars, musicians, racing drivers. One notable actor that lived here was Roger Moore. He had a big villa there. George Clooney's got one there as well. But you walk around there and you can't see anything because they're all high gates and very, very protective. But as time went on, back in the 80s, the yachting industry used to be a leisure industry, and as time went on from the mid-90s onwards, it was like professionalised. We had to have all these certificates, which I'll go into in the next video about what you need to do to get a job on a yacht. So, right, yeah, we'll come down here, and the apartment I had, it's number 30, yeah, that's the one there, that one there, that green door there. My apartment, it's on the second floor, just up there, and opposite us, see that building up there? One of those. There was an old couple staying there who, unbeknown to me, were very good friends of the owner of the property I was renting. And the funny thing that happened was, when the flat was on fire, after the initial explosion, the horrified look on their faces, Harry said it was an absolute picture. And then what happened next, with the flames, Harry grabbed a saucepan, threw the saucepan out the window, crashed onto the floor here. Flames everywhere. I don't know how it didn't hit anybody. I really don't know how it didn't hit anybody, because those people, they would spend all day looking out the window, maybe just counting how many ants walked past. And when he saw this fireball blazing out the window and then this saucepan on fire came flying out the window, a look of horror was unbelievable. And the emergency services closed all this road off. There was about 4 or 5 fire engines, police everywhere. And not only that, the brand new cooker was completely destroyed. When I moved in there, I'd only been in there a month, and the brand new cooker was completely annihilated, and the kitchen as well. So it was a funny story. But then, well, obviously the guys in the bar of the port, they knew all this, but I didn't go there straight after work. I went straight home, and they could have warned me if I went in there. So inevitably, the owner booted me out the apartment, and the whole incident, yeah, see, let's have a walk down here, nice and quaint, quiet down here, and the whole incident was front page news on the regional newspaper here called the Nice Matin. And I think if you look up the records, it was early September 2001. And what happened next was I couldn't get rid of Harry. He was hanging on. I thought, sod this. I couldn't get in another apartment, because after that incident, it's such a small community that the word spread like, look at that, it's beautiful. And the word spread. So I couldn't get in another apartment, so I flew out to America. So I flew to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, based myself in Fort Lauderdale, and go back. Yeah, based myself in Fort Lauderdale. It was the 6th of September, and we all know what happened a week later, the following Tuesday. And so I couldn't get any work on the boat in Fort Lauderdale, so I just hung around in Floyd's crew hostel, and then flew back to France the following month. But by that time, what happened to Harry, God only knows. All my mates in the bar port wanted to beat the shit out of him, but they wouldn't. I said, no, it's not going to get my apartment back, is it? So just leave it be. So they'd done another stealth move whereby he would never work on a boat, and eventually he didn't. He eventually ended up homeless on the streets of Nice. But all these stories and many more stories of this area and Antibes, let's go this way, and Antibes, I featured in my book Never Look Back, which is in the descriptions down below, so please check that out and have a good read. Also it includes the early part of my life where I was homeless in London before I got out and started travelling. So I'll walk down here. I'll take you around towards the new developments that are happening here on Antibes. So that was a story of the explosion in my apartment. Yeah, you help friends out and they just do the dirty deed on you. But the thing was, he was so much of an alcoholic, he just couldn't get work, he couldn't be trusted. He was a chef, and how could you trust a chef like that on a multi-million-pound yacht? You couldn't. Anyway, what happened to Harry after that, who knows? Never heard from him after that. The Marsh Prevalence cell up the end here. I'm just coming down here. I'll just show you the new developments. And I'll just mention, on this world trip I'm doing right now, I'm heading off to a different country in a couple of days' time. But I thought I'd come back here and see what has changed in my old hometown and hopefully meet up with some old friends who are very few and far between, still scattered around. And but this is by far the most expensive place I will be going to, so I thought I'll get this out of the way with first. And this is all this area here. This used to be a big car park. Now there's a bandstand. Sometimes in the summer they have a live band on there. All these chairs, all these restaurants here, they've always been here. That restaurant's been here, a Cascade, that's been here 30, 40 years. It's always been there. So it gets very busy, especially in the summer. It's look how many tables there are. In the summer it's packed. See, imagine how much money they're raking in. So just have a wander down here and I'll finish the video off down at a well-known location that a lot of expats from Antibes from the old day will remember. So just come up here. This up here is Rue James Close. I'm not going to walk down here, but down there, I had an apartment down here as well. But down here there was all handmade jewellery shops down here and artist studios. Now it's like high-end boutique shops now and expensive restaurants. But I'll walk up here and show you this place on the corner up here. This place in the corner, I've spent an absolute fortune here over the years, and unbelievably it's still here and it's still the same sort of business. This place here, and sunglasses. I spent a fortune on sunglasses in here. I kept losing them because I didn't have string. I didn't have string around my neck to keep them attached to myself. When I was on the boat, sometimes I was looking over the side of the boat, I'd have them attached to the top of my head. And when I leant over the side, they'd drop into the water and lose them. It's like probably about 1,000 quid a pair of glasses, which was about over 100 quid. So yeah, like every few months I'd go in there and buy a new pair of sunglasses. And they got a fortune out of me. So we're just coming towards the end of the video now, so not long to go, and then we'll wrap it up. Just up there is that's where the new town is. I'm not going to go up there. That's where all the office blocks and all the banks are there. So pretty boring up there. This here was it's always been the post office, it's always been the post office. But this is all changed in front of me here. This wasn't here, this was all one huge like car park. This was like where the Thursday market used to be. Used to have a Thursday market, not a fruit and veg market like La Marge Provençal. This used to be like sell clothes and shoes and all sorts of odds and ends, antiques, everything. Every Thursday there'd be a market here, but now I was told that this has only appeared here in the last 6 months. Still freshly built, and it doesn't match up with the rest of the character of old Antibes. Whereas theoretically this is still part of old Antibes, only when you go up there towards the new town, that's a new town area. But look at this building here. What a futuristic building this, but who knows what it's going to be. I don't know. There's going to be something up there. Looks quite impressive, but yeah, this has completely changed all this area. Completely changed, and okay, we'll just walk up here, and in here, just up here, is called La Galerie de Port, and in there was where all the yacht agencies were. If you wanted to get a job on a boat, you go there for weekly interviews, hand your CVs in, and just keep up to date. You're still interested in looking for crew work. But I never actually got crew work through them. All my crew work was done through word of mouth. My trustworthiness, my efficiency to work hard, and the safety of the vessel and the crew. Now this place here, I'm just going to quickly walk through here. Who knows this place? Rue Blanche area. Now this used to be called, back in the day in the 80s and 90s, this was called Dog Shit Alley, for the reason being that, as you can probably guess, all the French people used to bring their dogs for a walk down there, and they shit all over the pavement. They wouldn't clear it up, and you go to the bar, you get pissed up, and you take a shortcut through here, maybe to get to the old town, get to your apartment, and most of the time you tread in a lump of dog shit. Oh shit, bloody hell. Yeah, this was famous, this was. Those who come from Antibes will definitely remember this area. So that's the end of that little tour. So I'm gonna leave it here, go for a coffee in La Blue Lady, and then I'm gonna get a train maybe off to Villefranche-sur-Mer, and do a quick vlog from there on the way to Monaco. So until next time, have a good day, and I'll see you shortly. Ciao, bye.